So for people considering the residency program, my advice is, if you like teaching, go for the residency program, because I think that's the overarching theme of every residency position. You do a heck of a lot of teaching. So what that entails is that means you have to prep for courses, then you have to meet usually with student groups, present information, and then there's usually marking and evaluating and meetings and administrative work involved. So if the teaching component is something that you think you'd like, I think the residency is perfect. It's like a stepping stone into a teaching career. If teaching is something that you don't like, I would probably avoid it, and I would say there are probably better avenues to open up opportunities.
If you're interested in the residency, if you love to teach, if you want to learn a lot, and you love learning, and you want to contribute to the profession and to the school, if all of those three things apply, then the residency is the place for you. The converse is also true. If you are tired of learning, if you don't want to teach, and if you really feel no need to contribute, then maybe another avenue will speak to you more. But definitely, if you love to teach and you want to learn, and if you want to contribute to the school, then this is definitely the place for you.
So at first, when I did the residency program, which is 2 years, they took three of us.
Okay.
And at times I regretted it, because once I was done, I felt like my classmates were 2 years ahead of me in terms of building their practice.
Okay.
But what I gained from it, and so there is that sense, like you'll feel that.
Yeah.
You feel like they've gone and started. Not everyone will do it, but you feel like you're a bit behind. But mind you, you can start building your practice while you're a resident too. It's just, it was busy for me, and I didn't. It's busy.
Yeah,
You're doing a lot of things. So realistically, actually, the realistic part is that you probably won't have like a thriving practice unless you're willing to work, ridiculous hours. So it's possible, but I felt like it was I wanted some more balance. So anyways, a good fit for me, because I did want to still contribute to the profession in some way, and I think it's a good way to do that. And if you don't necessarily want to practice, but maybe you want to do research, or do you want to keep teaching, this is a way to kind of like dabble in a bit of it and then see if this is something you might want to do now or maybe in the future. So at least you know what it entails. But what was great actually out of the residency is that I made some connections with people. And out of the residency program, I met one of the wellness coordinators of the Canadian Tire Corporation at their head office at Yonge and Eglinton. And so I just kept in touch with this person, and when they decided to bring on site services, obviously he emailed me and he was like, well, we want to bring an on-site naturopath to come every week for our employees. And so I was there for almost 10 years, and that was a result of the residency program. So you do have an opportunity to meet people and network in different ways than you wouldn't be able to in practice.
Advice for students considering the residency program is really consider if it's a good fit for you. Again, I think that, so it's natural to want to always seek greater knowledge, greater experience, to feel like there's something else out there for us, and to feel after we graduate that the next step is residency. And it attracts a lot of people to the program because of that, but sometimes I feel like it may attract people just because they're driven by the pursuit of knowledge and not necessarily because it's a great fit. The residency program is fantastic and extremely rewarding, but it's very demanding. And I think if you end up in it and if it's not right for you, it can be extremely draining, and I think you can feel burnout. So I would say for anyone who's considering it, to just speak to as many residents or faculty members or past residents as possible, get a feel for what the residency is, what it entails, and if the more you speak to others, the more you start to think this really resonates with what I want, then go for it. And I would encourage people, if it's something that sounds like a good fit for you, go for it with all force. Like, don't discount yourself, don't doubt yourself, don't make excuses as to why it's not going to work out. 100% go for it, give it all that you got, because I know that there's been some residents that I've spoken to who say, I wasn't the head of the NSA, or I wasn't president of the school, I didn't think that they'd even look at my application, and they've become some of the best residents.
Yeah.
So if it's something that you think is a good fit for you, then go for it.
Yeah, for sure. I think ask around, ask about the residency program, ask people who've gone through it, ask people who have also are going through it right now, and find out what it's like. You know, what are the best things about the program? What are the worst things about the program? So that you kind of get some context, and then that you can decide whether it's for yourself or not. Yeah, I think that's what I would say. You know, if you kind of know the ins and outs of it, then you can decide whether it's something you're going to launch yourself into, or whether it's something, or maybe you're going to take a different route. But yeah.
I think the residency provides an opportunity to continue to explore how a person might want to be a naturopathic doctor. And it allows them to continue to reflect on in what way will my personal application of what I know and the principles and the knowledge and all of those pieces, in what way will that be most purposeful for me? And because the residency allows one to explore and dabble in various areas of the profession, I think it gives a good opportunity for people to do that, rather than feeling like they just have to graduate, go out and establish a practice, which might actually be unfulfilling for some people. So I think that's probably the biggest suggestion I have for folks, is to really be intentional and thoughtful about the path that they're on, and not to be afraid to take a different path if it doesn't feel right.
I know that they all seem great.
Yeah.
And all I can say is that no matter who I asked and what I read about the programs and how much I Googled about them, it didn't even come close to how good it really is now that I'm in it. And the reason why I wanted to do this video project was actually to be able to share with all the students that this is an amazing opportunity. Like, I have learned so much, and I almost didn't do this. Like, I almost didn't apply, I almost didn't take the job. I don't know why, but I was struggling with things, and then I just realized now, like, everything has come to be right here, and I'm so thankful. Like, I didn't really know if I grasped how good this program would actually be, and if it's something you're considering, I would say definitely follow through with that. It shocks me that I would think that every student would want this. Obviously, there's some people who just want to get out of CCM, but now that I've experienced it, I would recommend it to everyone. Like, it should be so competitive. Unfortunately, it is competitive, I'm sure, but might become more competitive if everybody listens to this. But it's a really good program. Yeah. And if anyone ever has questions, they can come ask me anytime.
I mean, for people who are considering the residency program and eventually embark on the residency program, balance obviously is very important, and I think that's come across in a lot of these interviews. But you want to make sure that you understand yourself, and you know what's going to make you happy, and you know what's going to drain you, and you keep track of that as you go through it. So you need to make sure that you're setting yourself up for opportunities to relax and decompress, while still making sure that you have the resilience and the capacity to really push through when you need to, right? Because you're going to need to do a lot of preparation when you're TAing different courses and when you're supervising interns. But I would say also try and enjoy it, and check in with yourself, because it's a really cool learning opportunity for yourself. You grow a lot in the residency as well. You thought you stopped growing after the program, but there's still a lot. There's still a lot to be done. So yeah, I'd say just try and make sure that you're staying balanced, and keep your end objectives in mind as well. So if you know that you want to be focusing on a specific area within naturopathic medicine, whether it's pediatrics or oncology, try to make sure that you're connecting with the practitioners at CCNM and around CCNM that are already doing that, and look for opportunities to make sure that you're able to fulfill those objectives in the 2 years that you're here, because you really do have access to a lot of great knowledge bases and a lot of great people that have done cool things, and it'd be a great idea to make sure that you're connecting with them.